It's pretty intimidating when trying to do your part fighting climate change, but you don't have to feel helpless. Great to have the founder of Eco-Friendly Events, Romina Kwan, back on the show, and says that our individual actions can collectively make a difference. Great to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, so we'll get to the event stuff first, but like for myself or anybody watching at home, what can we do, just those little actions to maybe help out the bigger cause?
I think first thinking about basically the first R, reduce.
Yeah.
So what do you actually need in your life? Are you buying it out of convenience? Are you buying it because it looks cute, it's trending? Do you actually need it, or do you already have something similar at home? Once you have that, once you realize, okay, I have that at home, I don't need to purchase this item. So you're then saving the amount of resources, the transportation from that item to get onto the shelf and then for you to bring it home. And then you're also saving money.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the water bottles that you have in front of us. That's a big one, right? And we are getting better at doing that. Like we're seeing all the fads with all the water bottles, but we can do better.
We can do better. So I remember when the Nalgene was like super popular. That was first number of years, and then we got the Swells, the Starbucks, the Clean Canteens. Last year, of course, the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
And then we were just discussing about the Awala.
So there's a new one out there?
There's a new one now. Yeah, it's coming out. It's on TikTok.
Okay.
And so every time we're buying the next trendy thing, all of these just sort of like stay in our cupboards.
Right.
And what do we do with them? They just kind of sit there, or we toss them out. And where do we toss them out? And so thinking about where is this item coming from, and then where is it going after you use it?
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you're using it as long as possible to keep it out of landfill, and then properly disposing of it once it's no longer.
And then even educating our kids. You know what I mean? I have 3 young kids. Educating them about the amount of waste that we have.
And not needing so many things. We have what we need, and it's nice to maybe get something new from time to time,
Yeah.
but how can we just keep things out of landfill?
And making it second nature. That's what it has to become. Let's transition, because you run a company that that specifically works with companies and sustainability of their events.
Yes.
Are they conscious of this? Is this something that it's always the one thing that they maybe want to do, but it's the first thing to get cut?
Yes, and it's also ironic for me when I walk into an event and they say they're all about sustainability, but then I'm seeing a bunch of single-use items or a lot of plastic all over the place. And so it makes me question, are you walking the walk as well, even at your events? It's both internally but externally as well. And so how can we do better?
Does it always mean it's going to be more expensive?
No. So for an event that I did a couple weeks ago, the hotel had both single-use coffee cups and reusable coffee cups, and all I did was have a conversation with the staff. Can we remove all of the single-use items and just have the reusables on site? It didn't cost the client any more money.
Okay, so coffee is another one similar to water,
yes.
right? Having your own mug that you're making at home or taking to storefronts and using. And is that something that storefronts allow, to bring your own mug in?
Most of them do. They normally ask you what the size of it is, but big coffee chains as well will take your reusable cups.
Okay. What are some other things making events more sustainable?
You want to think about end of life. So when you print all the signage, all the badging, all of those things, where is it going at the end of your event? So same thing in your day-to-day. When you're buying something, where is it coming from? Is it being made overseas? Is it made locally in Canada? If it's made locally, that means it's reducing the transportation costs, so carbon emissions. And then at the end of its life, can it actually be recycled? Can it be composted? Or is it just going to landfill? Yeah, because the disconnect between events and sustainability, and the disconnect between our lives and sustainability, I think that in the broader sense, that's what we can really look at. So it still comes down to education? It still comes down to education and then looking it up. So most cities, if you look up Hamilton Waste Management, they actually have a really cool app or a tool that you can look up different items and then you know which bin to put it in. Right. Because that's the other thing too, sorry to interrupt, but a lot of the time, if you ever go out to a transfer station, if there's something in a bin that doesn't belong in that bin, that whole bin is contaminated. Yes. Not just that one item. They're not taking that one item out. They're generally going to be change that whole bin into garbage and not recyclable. Yes, and some venues and event venues now are sorting their garbage behind the scenes, or I will personally put on some gloves and sort through the garbage at an event just to make sure we're doing the right thing. And people have the best intentions. They're not necessarily wanting to destroy our planet, but we need to do better. Great. Romina Kwan,
Thanks for coming back on the show. Ecofriendlyevents.ca if you want to get Romina involved in your future event. More Morning Live on this holiday Monday coming up right after this.